disingenuous illusion. This is not a victory. The freshman Democrat adding the fight to defund policing will continue.
We are going to reimagine policing in New York City.
I think the idea of having a police-free future is very aspirational.
In a carceral state.
You know what? I don't want to say these people are crazy nor deceived. I'm realizing this is total nonsense.
You're out of your mind.
The idea of defunding the police is altogether a bad one. In this next video, we are going to listen to 7 minutes of Democrats calling to defund the police. When I first heard this in 2000 and somewhere early 2019, and I heard this notion of just defunding the police, and I was like, seriously? Like, and I was able to go, I'm like, if you get rid of them, you know, the law breakers, they don't get converted, they gonna go crazy. Like, it's gonna be lawlessness, because the law enforcers, the policemen, although some are corrupt, we need to address them on an individual level, but to go after the entire cooperation and system in many states is altogether a bad idea. Okay, and whoever started calling out for that has certainly proven these thoughts of mine, my sentiments, to be true. So in this video right now, we are going to listen to Democrats going about defunding the police. This is coming from DC Shorts. Thank you so much for what you do, DC Shorts. You put these videos together for us so that we can dive into the content. So we appreciate you. How about we take a listen to what they're talking about?
So we've been talking about defunding the police.
There's some issues that we ask police to do, like mental health issues or policing in schools and all the rest, that perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
So yes,
What?
defund your butts. Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources from NYPD.
We will be moving funding from the NYPD to youth initiatives and social services.
They are talking about reducing the allocation of resources to that department. And I think every single city in this country ought to be thinking about the same thing.
Yes, I support the defund movement. I'm for responsible reallocation of resources.
And defund the police.
I think you do all those other things, you don't need all the money that's going to the police department. So yeah, I mean, the spirit of it, I do support that. Yeah, and you know,
You're kidding.
A lot of us were asked if we
You're
could
kidding.
imagine a future without police back in 2017 when we were running for office. And I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
There's no reason the police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can make sensible cuts to police.
We propose to redirect over $7 million from the police bureau.
That our city, through our city administrative officer, identified $250 million in cuts.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting, no more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed.
When they're saying defund the police, what are they saying? They're saying we want fundamental, basic change when it comes to policing. And they're right.
We are reallocating funds.
The police department here in Minneapolis needs to be dismantled, and we need to Listen to these individuals. Are they really like thinking from cause to effect? This is pure emotional. Like that level of political rhetoric, and they're all saying the same nonsense. Like, look at our cities now. Thank you, Dems. Thank you so much for defunding our police. Bloods are now in your hands. I hope you guys are realizing this. Shame on you. Start anew.
In some necessary cases, completely dismantling those police forces.
Police departments are taking a sizable amount of the budget of a lot of municipalities and other entities. We need to look at those budgets, pull
crazy,
some of the money back, and invest it in other things.
We are committed to shifting resources.
Our calls to defund the police have been met with resistance.
To stop investing so much money in this militarized police force and instead invest in the things that our community really needs.
yes, I support a radical reimagining of community safety and public safety.
I do believe that we need to reallocate resources away.
And will this involve cuts? Yes, of course, to every department, including the police department.
You know these people are crazy, right? You know they're crazy, right? Like literally crazy. Like you don't need to be a politician to know that this was a recipe for disaster. These people are just nuts. Like, you seriously want to defund the police? Don't get me wrong. They probably needed some changes made in the police station. But what we did not want to do is to get rid of them and defunding them. By defunding them, you leaving these guys out in the battlefield without the ability to properly defend and care for those who are vulnerable or are in need of their service. Now we have the Ferguson effect, right? The Ferguson effect, the George Floyd effect. Like, what these police are doing, they just say, we're just gonna stand still. We're gonna let the criminals do what they do. You guys want to defund the police. We can't do our jobs without the proper equipment. So in other words, you're trying to address the wrongs of some bad cops. In the process, you heard the work and the ability for the good cops to do their jobs. That is just stupid. That is just wrong. That is unthoughtful. And they keep on saying this nonsense, thinking it's gonna work in their favor. No wonder why people are just leaving these Democrats alone. No wonder why my sentiments concerning this party is changing by the hour. Zero desire to even consider their talking points, and it's horrible because of the way these people are thinking.
And so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer.
When we said defund the police, the world woke up.
I really love that Black Lives Matters and other protesters have.
And I think some of them really meant well. They really thought they were doing something positive. The thing is, there is something called deception out there. Deception is when you really think you have 100% truth in your hands, but really, you are deceived. You are misled. And I think some of these individuals were just deceived. They really thought they were doing something right. I wonder how many of those will take these words back today. How many of them will come forward and say, man, we were crazy. Those riots and everything that we saw, and you know, these things got in us, man. It got us not thinking correctly. Yeah.
Put this front and center to defund.
Defunding police means defunding police. If these reports are accurate, then these proposed cuts to the NYPD budget are a disingenuous illusion. This is not a victory. The freshman Democrat adding, the fight to defund policing will continue.
We are going to reimagine policing in New York City.
I think the idea of having a police-free future is very aspirational, and I am willing to stand with community members who are asking us to think of that as the goal.
Should be defunding or dismantling their police departments, such as in Minneapolis and New York?
My answer is yes to that. We need to be looking at it clearly.
Which means reallocating and not further investing in a carceral state.
You know what? I don't want to say these people are crazy nor deceived. I'm realizing this is total nonsense. I don't want to give them an excuse, because to me, for them to be saying stuff like this over and over again and kept on pushing these points, it shows that this is definitely politically driven. Definitely politically driven.
Through a process of dismantling that institution.
So defunding the police, for me, it means a reallocation of funds.
Why use the word defund? Why use the word defund? And it's like, this is the word that's coming from the streets.
But what they don't realize, if you get rid of the police, the people that are innocent are gonna be taken advantage of by the criminals. Like, what are you talking about? What are you going after the wrong type of people? Oh my Lord. I mean, were the police during this time being overpaid? I mean, I don't even think that's what's going on, because I think these police are underpaid, if I'm not mistaken. But were the departments of policing during these times making so much money, and were they abusing their power and stuff like that? I still don't think that was the solution. If anything, more training. If anything, more funding the police. If anything, it was more like, how do we get our cops to know how to do their jobs better? That's what we should be talking about, right? Not defunding them. The level of nonsense that comes with this.
You know,
we're going to dissolve the gun violence reduction.
Dissolve?
The school resource officer program and the transit specialty units.
Sounds good. But what has been the result? Yeah, you've dissolved it, all right. And the crime rate has skyrocketed. Thank you. You did your job.
You don't have one bad apple. You don't have 4 bad apples.
That is crazy to me.
You have a system-wide problem in that police department. And only by completely dismantling that system and rebuilding it intentionally with the community members at the table, do you have any hope of getting it right?
Coming together as a community to reimagine what public safety looks like for us.
We talk about defunding the police, defunding the Pentagon.
My push is that we defund our police departments.
This idea of reprioritizing our budget, this idea of moving funds and reinvesting.
It means that we need to look at ways in which we can reduce the amount of resources that we're providing to the department, redirect those funds.
To make sure that that defund is first understood and that we bring that home to our communities.
So Minneapolis unanimously just voted on a resolution that will
Wow.
engage the community on a 1-year process of what happens as we go through the process of dismantling the department and starting anew.
Dismantling, dissolve, defund, reallocating, and oh my lord. I'm looking at online, defund the police is a slogan that supports divesting funds from police departments and reallocating them to non-policing forms of public safety, which is what? Security guards? What is that? But anyway, community support such as social services, youth services, house educations, and healthcare and other community resources. So let me get it right. So if a criminal comes to your neighborhood to do you harm, right? If the gangsters are having a war, a gang war, right? And they are shooting, like what's happening in New York, in Detroit, in many different places right now. Would you want to call public safety, community support, social services, youth houses, youth services, housing, education, and health community service to come to your rescue? These are the people you want to call? I believe they have a great work to do, but a lot of them are not needed. A lot of them are not needed. Okay, so these people are nuts. Anyway, I think I'm getting upset.
Community process to help reimagine public safety.
The city council in Minneapolis made the right decision.
So when we talk about defunding, it can show up in multiple ways.
We obviously took money out of the NYPD budget, put it into youth programs, put it into social services, put it into recreation centers for young people. That's really the right direction. I'm glad we did that.
Not only do we need to defund, but we need to dismantle and start anew, allows us to really reimagine what public safety should look like in our community.
It means a dramatic reduction in the number of police in our poor communities, and particularly our poor Black and brown communities.
I'm asking you to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to make sure that overfunded police departments are defunded?
You know this girl is crazy, right? Anyway.
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department, to end policing as we know it.
And so
oh my goodness. You see, this is the thing with emotion. This is why you should never make decisions when you're mad. You should never make decisions when you are feeling some type of way. You have to reason from cause to effect. That's why I know when I'm upset, I walk away. When I'm upset, I walk away. If something is happening in the home and I'm not feeling good, I've learned to just walk away, get a Bible, go out in nature and go take some deep breaths. because your blood cells are clogging. You're not thinking quite properly. The thing is, these individuals, they were calling out for defunding the police purely from emotional, I don't know, is it emotional alchemy? It is, I don't know, from nothing but just from the spirit of the age. They were just motivated by what was going on. They were not thinking. They were not thinking. And now, look at us now. How smart was that move? How many of them have come forward to apologize? Please let me know. Send some videos with me. And I want to take some of these words back. But boy, how dumb and stupid was that? How dumb and stupid were these words? And they have serious repercussion in our culture and society today. This mindset has transferred. Criminals are listening to this. It's like, whoo, yeah. They say defund the police, guys. Let's go looting. Let's go robbing. Let's go get our enemies.
So what we are advocating for is a reorientation, reimagining of what public safety should be.
Girl, you are advocating for lawlessness. You are removing barriers. You are removing foundation. You are removing means of protection of those innocents. You are advocating for lawlessness. And we have been seeing nothing but wickedness in our cities lately. And this stuff is bad. Thank you, dams. Thank you. Thank you for your rhetoric. And now look at the state of our world. Let me share a Bible verse with you in this video. Hear the words of the Lord, Hosea 4 verse 1. You children of Israel, for the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. There is no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in the land. There's the problem right there. The land already has no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in it. Fine. We already know that. That's lawlessness, right? These are lawbreakers. Look what happens in verse 2. By swearing and lying. You see these people? They were lying. What was the result? Killing, stealing, committing adultery. They break out, blood toucheth blood. It's almost like we were reading our history right in scripture. These things were happening in the time of Israel during the prophet Hosea. It's happening today. You done lie and swear, and guess what? The result is killing, stealing, committing adultery, break out, blood toucheth blood. That means they're killing each other. They are robbing one another. They are hurting this individual and that individual. Why? There is no policing. You are getting rid of the law. You are getting rid of anything that protects the innocents. Criminals don't get converted. Only Jesus changed their hearts. Because you change the law doesn't mean criminals' laws don't make criminals better. Now look at this. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish. We can go on and on. Friends, we are reaping the consequences of messages such as these. These people were crazy. I don't know how they came to this conclusion. I mean, whatever led to that was pure emotion and nothing but political rhetoric and unthoughtful processes which led them to say stuff. I'm done talking. Let's end this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Comment below. Share your thought and perspective with me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, remember as always to look unto Jesus and to live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.